My name is Peter Abetz. I'm the State Director of the Australian Christian Lobby here in Perth. We're going to a state election on Saturday, and I've discovered that many people don't actually understand the voting system. Our voting system is actually fairly simple, but you do need to understand it to really get the best value for your vote. In the lower house, we have 59 electorates, and in each electorate, one person wins, and that becomes your local Member of Parliament. Now here we've got a ballot paper for Darling Range, and with the 10 candidates that are standing, and every person who votes has to number every square in order of their preference. And on voting night, what happens is every ballot paper is put on a pile that has, say, candidate A, all the number 1 votes go on a pile for that person, all the number 1 votes for B would go here, and for C go here, and for D, and so on. We're just going to limit it to 4 for simplicity's sake. Then what happens is, who now has the lowest number of votes? Well, it looks like this one's got B's got the lowest number of votes. Then what happens is, their number 2 vote becomes their number 1 vote. And so that then gets divvied up. So they might have 2 here, and these go here, and 1 for here. Now who has the lowest number of votes? Looks like candidate C. So their ballot papers get taken, and their number 3 now becomes their number 1. And say this person here might get 2 of them, and this one here gets 1. So we put these 2 now are the only 2 left. Whoever has the most ballot papers on their pile is the winner. Now, people sometimes think, well, if I've put, say, number 1 for Australian Christians and they didn't win, then I've wasted my vote. Well, you haven't actually wasted your vote, because your vote has transferred fully on until you get to one of the very last 2 candidates. And by, say, voting for a minor party, you actually send a message to our politicians that, for example, if you vote Australian Christians, that there's a significant Christian community out there. If you were to vote, for example, no compulsory vaccination, even though they don't get elected, it sends a message to the politicians. There's a significant group of people who don't want to have compulsory vaccinations, and so on. So by voting for minor parties, you don't waste your vote, but it does allow you to send a message to our politicians as to what your views are. So that's the lower house. That's pretty straightforward. Now, the upper house is a little bit more complicated. In the upper house, the state's divided up into 6 regions, and each region elects 6 members. So that means the minor parties have an opportunity to actually get someone in if they can get around about 15% of the vote. Now, you have a choice in how you vote. There are so many candidates that you end up with a very long ballot paper. This is just the first part of a ballot paper. It would really be about that long. I didn't have a piece of paper long enough to show you and to have a sample kind of paper. But as you can see, there's a line, and you can either vote above the line or below the line. If you vote above the line, you simply put a number 1 in the box of the party of your choice, or you can vote below the line, but you can't vote both. You can either do one or the other. If you vote below the line, you must number every single square in order of your preference, and there's roughly 50, so very few people do that. If you vote above the line, you put a 1 in the party of your choice. Now, that means that you have chosen the order in which the party has registered with the Electoral Commission as to how the sequence should flow below the line. For example, I've printed this off from the Electoral Commission website. The Australian Christians, for example, here there are some 47 candidates, and they have listed them all in the order that they want. They have ordered them all to the degree that they believe that they support traditional Christian values. So if you, say, for example, want to vote for candidates who support Christian values, an easy way is to put a 1 in the Australian Christians box. They've done the hard work of ordering them for you. Alternatively, you can do your own choice by numbering every single square below the line. So that's, again, is basically the way the system works. And if the Australian Christians, for example, if you've put them in the number 1 box, then if their candidates don't get elected, you haven't wasted your vote, because your vote flows in full value through to your second, third, fourth, and so on, in the same kind of way as it does in the lower house. So I hope that that explains the voting system a little better for you and enables you to vote intelligently and in a way that actually achieves what you wanted to achieve on Saturday, March the 13th.